Imagine walking into a crowded barbecue joint on a humid Friday night in Virginia Beach, the kind of place where the beer is cold, the ribs are sticky, and the jukebox never stops playing Toby Keith. The laughter is loud, the stories are louder, and everyone thinks they know everyone else's business. That's exactly where Sarah walked in, a young woman in a simple sundress, her dark hair pulled back, and a fresh tattoo peeking out on her shoulder blade. It was small, delicate, just 4 numbers, and a tiny trident. June 4th, 2011. Nothing flashy, nothing screaming for attention. But the second she reached for a drink, the sleeve slipped and the ink caught the light. The table of loudmouths at the corner noticed first. One of them, a guy in a backwards cap who'd clearly had 3 too many, barked out a laugh that cut through the whole room. "Hey, sweetheart, nice tat. Did you lose a bet or something?" "What is that, your ex's prison number?" His buddies howled. Another one chimed in. "Looks like something a wannabe puts on after watching too many Navy SEAL TikToks." The mockery spread like wildfire. Phones came out. People were snickering, whispering, pointing. Sarah's cheeks burned red, but she didn't say a word. She just grabbed her drink, turned her back to them, and tried to disappear into the crowd. If you're loving stories that turn the tables on bullies like this, hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss one. But the night wasn't over. The front door swung open again, and in walked a group of men who moved differently, quieter, like they owned the gravity in the room. You could feel it before you saw the haircuts, the watchful eyes, the way they scanned corners out of habit. One of them wore a simple black polo, with a tiny gold trident pinned above the heart. Rear Admiral Chris Cassidy, former commander of Naval Special Warfare, astronaut, and the man who once led the most elite teams on the planet, was just trying to grab a quiet beer with some old teammates after a reunion event. He wasn't looking for attention either. Then he saw Sarah standing alone by the bar, shoulders tight, staring at the floor while the table kept laughing. Something made him pause. He tilted his head, squinted, and took one step closer. When the light hit her shoulder again, his entire body language changed. The easy smile vanished. His jaw locked. The men behind him noticed immediately. One of them muttered, "Boss?" But Cassidy didn't answer. He was frozen, staring at those 4 numbers and that tiny trident like he'd just seen a ghost. The laughter at the corner table was still rolling when Cassidy started walking straight toward Sarah. The whole bar started to hush. People could sense something big was shifting. Sarah felt someone behind her and turned, expecting more mockery. Instead, she found herself looking up at a man whose eyes were suddenly glassy. He didn't say a word at first. He just reached out, very gently, and touched the edge of her tattoo with 2 fingers, like he was afraid it might disappear. Then, in the quietest voice you've ever heard from a man who'd once stormed terrorist strongholds, he asked, "Where did you get this?" Sarah's voice cracked. It's the day my brother didn't come home. June 4th, 2011. Extortion 17. The entire bar went dead silent. If you know what Extortion 17 means, you already feel it in your chest. For everyone else, on August 6, 2011, a Chinook helicopter call sign Extortion 17 was shot down in Afghanistan. 30 Americans died, including 17 Navy SEALs from the Naval Special Warfare community, some of the bravest warriors this country has ever sent into the dark. But for Sarah, it wasn't a headline. It was her big brother Michael, the quiet kid who taught her to fish, who joined the teams to protect the little sister he always called Captain, who promised he'd be home for her college graduation. He never made it. The little trident on her shoulder wasn't some fashion statement. It was the exact Budweiser Michael earned the day he pinned it on, the one they gave her, still warm from his chest, at Dover when his flag-draped coffin came home. Admiral Cassidy knew every single name from that manifest. He'd attended too many memorials, written too many letters, and when he saw the date tattooed on this young woman's skin, he knew exactly whose sister was standing in front of him. His hand moved from her shoulder to a perfect salute, eyes locked forward, tears rolling freely down his face. Every man he'd walked in with snapped to attention behind him and saluted too. The table of clowns who'd been laughing 30 seconds earlier now looked like they wanted the floor to swallow them whole. One of them tried to stand, mouth opening and closing like a fish, but nothing came out. Cassidy finally dropped the salute, wrapped Sarah in the kind of hug only warriors give family, and whispered, "Your brother was one of the finest men I ever had the honor to serve with. He saved lives that day. He saved mine, even if he never knew it." Then he turned to the room, voice steady but carrying like thunder. "This woman is Gold Star family. Her brother was a SEAL. And tonight, every drink in this bar is on me, for her, for Michael, and for every single warrior who never came home." The place erupted, not in laughter, but in applause that shook the rafters. Grown men were crying into their beers. Strangers lined up to shake Sarah's hand, to thank her, to apologize if they'd stood silent while she was mocked. The loudmouth who started it all walked over, hat in his hands, barely able to look her in the eye. He tried to speak twice before the words finally came, broken and small. "Ma'am, I'm so sorry. I didn't know." Sarah just looked at him for a long moment, then did something nobody expected. She reached out and hugged him too. "Now you do," she said. By the time Sarah left that night, she wasn't walking alone. Half the bar walked her to her car, grown men in ball caps, carrying her leftovers like it was the most important mission of their lives. Admiral Cassidy slipped his personal coin into her hand, the one with the seal Trident on it, and told her, "Anytime you need anything, anywhere in the world, you call." That's an order, Captain. And somewhere up above, a big brother who never got to see his little sister graduate smiled down, knowing the Trident he earned would always protect her, even when he couldn't. That's the night a tattoo stopped being just ink and became the most powerful reminder in the room that some stories are written in grief, carried in courage, and honored in silence until the right person sees them. Sarah still goes back to that same barbecue joint every year on June 4th. The table of loudmouths? They're there too, but now they stand when she walks in, pull out her chair, and make sure nobody ever disrespects a Trident again. So tell me in the comments, from which part of the country are you watching this video right now? Drop your state, your city. Let's put a map together of everyone who needed to hear Michael's story tonight. And if this one hit you in the soul, share it with someone who needs to remember what real heroes look like. I'll see you in the next one.